Hello, I'm Stephanie, and this is Intelligence Luxury. So, this is Stephanie. I'm Stephanie. This is Intelligent Luxury. I love reading books. Michael Jordan steakhouses are in the states of Connecticut, Illinois, and Washington. The steakhouse in Illinois is not in a casino. On my website, intelligentluxurymagazine.com, there are links to Mr. Michael Jordan's restaurants, websites, and a link to Mr. Bob Johnson's, a link to Mercedes Benz's website. And also, you can visit Marriott.com for more information and Hilton.com for more information about purchasing a hotel and having it managed by Marriott or Hilton. Michael Jordan owns a golf course named Golf 23. Membership is by invitation only. Michael Jordan promotes the Jordan brand on Nike.com, and he does have sell golf shoes or accessories or apparel. So you can go to Nike.com and search for Michael Jordan Golf and also Michael Jordan Golf. Michael Jordan owns Michael Jordan. Let's talk about Nissan. So let's talk about going to Nissan.com. And how do you inquire about owning an automobile dealership? That's my question to good people out there in the earth, on the earth. He also sponsors the Novant Health Michael Jordan Family Clinic. This information is on my website, intelligentluxurymagazine.com. U.S. Food Chef Store is on 3304 Eastway Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. Further information about Mercedes-Benz is available at mercedesbenz.com, yourengagement101.com. In America, the new custom is you're not supposed to kiss children on the mouth. Babies, toddlers, that's the new trend for any foreigners or non-foreigners or U.S. old people doing that. That is the new trend. For further information about Mercedes-Benz, available at mercedesbenz.com. It's a world, isn't it? So yourengagement101.com. So please visit metmuseum.org for more information about the Met Museum. I'm Stephanie. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Today I'm wearing Walmart. I have my Pandora bracelet, my George Gray watch on. I do need a battery for my George Gray watch. Can I get that done at Jared's? Or an independent jeweler like Masonian? I wasn't planning to say that right there. So don't we love Masonian? Don't we love all the jewelers in the Tri-State area who I love and I met most of them, right? So Anthony Roberts Jewelers, love those guys over there in Spring Valley on Route 59. Love those guys. I'm sure they're good people. I haven't conducted a background check. So remember what I say. Conduct background checks. I'm sure they're good people at Masoni, those two, at Jared's. Jared's over there on Route 4. And all the jewelers in Garden State Plaza Mall, in the Connecticut malls that I visited, and in the New Jersey malls, and in the New York malls. Thank you for all of your help. So now the president delivered remarks today at the 2020 Council of for the pardon me. The president delivered remarks at the 2020 Council for National Policy meeting today. So that was good. And I don't have the remarks just yet. I was filming something else. So we will work with that. And I'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. So the vice president doesn't have any scheduled events for today, and we have Goldman Sachs. So I'm going to post a video where I made a little jerk. Oh, I made a little. I made a recipe and maybe I'll post it at another time. So learn from the best. Dwayne Wade, the Jordan Brand, the Walmart, Target during Brand Week at Brand Week Masters Live. So Brand Week Masters Live is September 14th through the 17th. So Brand Week is the name of the magazine, and it's not a week long event. Temple University website is temple.edu. Harvard's university website is harvard.edu, and University of Pennsylvania's website is upenn.edu. Both have campuses in the city. Remember that maybe if you want to, maybe a suburban campus is good for people who may have grown up in an urban environment, and maybe urban environment is good for people who grew up in a suburban environment. And then in graduate school, then you go to another type of environment for your school. The theme of Thursday's Democratic National Convention program is America's Promise. A lot of people, like librarians, have answers to questions about which college you should pick. Your librarians usually went to graduate school, and they really, 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 really are interested in helping you. Excerpts from select remarks as prepared for delivery from tonight's program I'm sorry. So let me talk about the program that we watched last night. I thought it was an amazing, and I saw the speech. And let's talk about what I wanted to talk about. Mr. Biden's speech and others talking. I thought it was really interesting program, the Democratic National Convention. So I watched a part of the Democratic Convention. I watched the most of it. So and then thank you, Mr. Perez, the National Committee Chair, for speaking. And then Governor Newsom from California, 130 degrees in Death Valley. So, are you able to live in 130 degrees in Death Valley? So Andrew Yang spoke, Elizabeth Warren. Uh, these are just some of the people. Mr. Roosevelt, Miss Rowan, Mr. O'Rourke, Mr. Buttigieg, and then Mr. Biden. So, Mr. O'Rourke, I believe he said this time next year, I want to see Mr. Biden in in the Oval Office. And Julie Louis Dreyfus. Any advice about money, Mr. Finance? And then hashtag CNN Town Hall. I watched part of that, and I saw the part of the video where they showed Joe Biden at the CNN Town Hall. And he talked about faith, and I thought that was an interesting video segment that he talked about faith. What do you have in faith in God if bad things are happening to you? You still have to have faith. And there's faith in college, and you study theology in college, and that's faith. So, study theology in college. It actually really, really was interesting for me to study in theology. So, my professor was a good professor. My professor was a good professor. And it's so funny that I met her again at a literary party. My theology professor. I met her again at a literary party at Rutgers University or something like that. I could be lying just to make up a story. So we must be the heroes of our generation. I thought that was an interesting quote. Andrew Young, he was a great spirit, and that's what he said about John Lewis. He was a great spirit. Stacey Abrams spoke too. I believe that we both went to Temple University, graduated from Temple University. Okay. And then we have the experts. I liked the part where they showed the 1988 Fair Housing Measures speech. So that was pretty good. And then we will create a beloved community. We will be sure. Um, I thought that was a good quote. We will create a beloved community. And then we will be sure. I believe that was by Miss Abrams. Apologize. I kind of needed that. We will be sure, said John Legend, and become blessings, said Common. So I thought that was great quotes from John Legend. Hey, I know that John Legend and I like to read books, and it's really a good way to have things to talk about when you were talking to people if you don't want to talk about another topic. So then, John Meekum, we are tied together in the single garment of our of destiny. I thought that was an interesting quote. And then I liked Miss Holland, Miss Deb Holland, and she talked about the Rio Grande Valley. And I remember the movie El Norte. El Norte. El Norte. That's what I know about the Rio Grande. So she talked about tribal nations have to help build the country, and they help. I'm sorry, tribal nations have helped build the country. And I thought that was an interesting statement. Senator Cory Booker, how are you, sir? I learned that his mom graduated from Fisk University at HBCU. So I wonder if she had any photographs that she would like to share at Intelli Luxury for HBCU week. So then, so I met Mr. Cory Booker in Newark at a Newark event. I did not drive to Newark. Yet driving to Newark, I thought parts of Newark are most parts of Newark are really, really, very beautiful. And, great Caribbean food in Newark. And then the Journeyman. I thought that was interesting. The Journeyman. I thought that was interesting. The Journeyman Wireman. Are they the Journey Wireman or the Journeyman from IBWE? Hello, people at IBWE, the Wireman. And then Senator Bowman from Wisconsin. And then I kind of drew Julia Dreyfus's dress, and then I drew my own dress and made her dress into another dress. So. And then Mr. Bloomberg, strength. He talked about strength, and I thought that was a good um, thing that he said, talking about strength and why we need strength. I think that we need strength to live, strength in prayer, and strength in financial prayer. And then watching these channels, watching your pension, men and women, is important. It's not unfeminine to watch your husband's and yours pension. So it's really, really good to read books about finance to improve your financial faith or strength to help you travel to places like the Democratic National Convention and managing your campaign. I hope they have the video on the website about managing campaign because a lot of people wanted to see that again, including myself. I wanted to watch the complete video. And then there's Senator Duckworth from Illinois. I would love to tour the Great Lakes of Illinois, maybe from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to uh, Chicago, Illinois, and then to Gary, Indiana, and then again to Detroit. I would love to visit these towns that border the Great Lakes, and then Detroit is really kind of in between, like a smaller lake and a Great Lake, or two Great Lakes, kind of in between, like on a river, something like that. So Biden talked about we the people, and I thought that was important. So let's talk about some of the quotes that they wanted us to really, really know about what they said Let's talk about Mr. Yang. You might know me as the guy who ran for president talking about math in the future. Unfortunately for all of us, that future is now. It's really good talking about that, but I also thought he said like there are parents and patriots who want the best for there are parents and patriots that want the best for our country. Isn't it great? Our parents and patriots want the best for us. Miss Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. People often think they can't make a difference like our civil rights icons, but every person in the movement matters. Those who made the sandwiches, swept the church floors, and stuffed the envelopes, they too changed America. So isn't it great about envelopes? I know I've stuffed envelopes, have I? So, I know that at least I'm good to stand there and say, hello, how are you? Welcome to civil rights organizations like the NAACP. So, Senator Baldwin from Wisconsin said that's the America we will be with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House. A nation that plans, a nation that builds, a nation that builds back. It's great, even if if you don't know how to plan. It's great to relearn planning and to plan even better. It's great to continue to learn how to plan. So then we have former Mayor Buttigieg, Buttigieg. Is it Buttigieg or Buttigieg? Uh, Every American must now decide, can America be a place where faith is about healing and not exclusion? Isn't it great to be in America, to have strength in the peace and the police, and to have to be able to call the police on the telephone and have them intervene peacefully? You don't have to have the police arrest people, but it's good if the people are hurting you, you kind of have to, or you might die. You can't take any more head trauma. So that's the faith. Thank you for that quote, Mr. Buttier. We do not discriminate here at the Intelligent Luxury. Yet we pray for a peaceful imprisonment, and maybe not just like an imprisonment. Of course, they let people outside and programs for prisoners, books for prisoners, programs for them to get away from the bully that's bullying them into criminal activity, and not for just prison, maybe some type of outpatient or inpatient treatment, and that's what I pray for. So um, let's talk about Mayor De Blasio. I thank the Democratic National Convention for letting me cover the speech. Oh wait, pardon me. I'm so sorry. I love fireworks. And Brian Williams talked about fireworks. He covered the press, but he talked about seniors. He talked about being humble, Mr. Biden. He talked about seniors, and he talked about protecting Social Security and Medicare. And he talked about a united America. We're all united in that we prefer bullies, people who use violence or verbal harassment, meaning like repeated verbal harassment, repeating certain things on tapes and playing it in their house. Just stop. So thank you, Mr. Williams, for that quote. Fireworks, and there were fireworks there. I love fireworks. Today, I also saw Mr. Mark Cuban on NBC, so I thought that was great. I wanted to promote luxury suites and have the events at luxury suites in a luxury suites for the NBA. It's a lot of fun. I've never been to luxury suites, but they look nice on the websites. If you go to NBA.com, each team usually has a luxury suites. If they're sold out, they usually have sections, usually for groups, to purchase tickets and to attend as a group. And sometimes they have luxury seating outside of a suite, like the Hornets, like the the Lakers, like the New York Knicks. I love the New York Knicks, and their nonprofit organization helped me. Thank you for attending one of my events, Mr. John Starks. I really appreciate him attending that event. So let's talk about Shark Tank at the game and the NBA product services. So all of us that love marketing, it wouldn't be great to have a Shark Tank at an NBA game? It would be great to have people have NBA create products for the NBA and have them show those products to the people in Shark Tank to offer products and services that they have specifically for the NBA. I thought that was great, and I thank Mr. Craig Melvin. Uh, I always try not to clap. We're praying for myself, right? We're praying. And nominated for an Emmy. Nominated for an Emmy, Mr. Mark Cuban Melvin, Mr. Craig Melvin from the Third Hour that Today's Show said. I thought that was great. And isn't it great that there are NABJ that there are like 3 African American hosts and a European American host? I mean, Dilly. So I like to watch that before I go outside. When I'm able to go outside, it'd be great. I just have so many people take the time to send me to help me. I want to make sure that you all hear that they have the Emmy for nominated for Emmy for outstanding reality series. So that's great. That's good. I really like that show. And Damon John. I haven't read his book yet. I can't read everyone's book this year. I have to wait until next year. Unless they pay me to read the book. I've never been paid to read a book. I guess I'm getting paid right now. So let me tell you about filming. I plan to film kind of maybe in the afternoon at rivers soon and at restaurants soon, maybe next year, maybe next summer, at parks and at shopping centers. And I pray that people can tell me about their study habits and not staying up too late. But if you're eating dinner at 5, you may be able to study for 3 to 4 hours. If you're an athlete, how many hours are you studying, or can you take summer school in order to uh, be able to study more the less subjects per day during school? These are excellent ideas. I imagine that children who want to go to school are, are telling me. That's what I imagine. The joy of cooking today. I didn't get to practice making my pasta today. I made whatever I made. And then the joy of cooking. This is the book. And it is by Ms. Rombauer. So Rombauer is Rombauer. Um, Mr. Becker, Mr. Becker, and Miss Scott. And it's published by Scrivener. And I don't know if they have large print, but you may be able to order it. There are private book services where you can usually reprint the books yourself. Let's talk about the Barnes& Noble's Classic. So let's read one sentence from The Portrait of a Lady. I'm still trying to decide which book I want to read for my little book club here. I'm going to read one book, so I need to read my former teacher's book club book when he has time to get back to me. So, taking the clues and the cues, under certain circumstances, there are few hours in life more agreeable than the hour dedicated to the ceremony known as afternoon tea. I imagine that he would tell me that a lot of people are busy and that they read half a book. They read half a book for a book club, so that's what I imagine. So remember the open street restaurant locations. There are locations in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. My friend Danny, as I call her, she has a tour in Brooklyn. I think it's like feastonhistory.com, similar to the history show on PBS. So let me make sure it's Feast on History. It would be good for me to visit. It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. I had to take a little break financially. You have to know when to not be able to do things. You have to say no. So this is great. She moves online for Welcome to Feast on History Food and Wine School. Italian food, wine, and art. No plane ticket or passport required. And you choose the plan. So that's great that you can go on feastonhistory.com. That's FEASTONHISTORY. Feastonhistory.com. I don't know why I don't get my emails. And now, so I was thinking about having a booth at the NAACP convention, and that would be good if I could get there. I'm very competitive, so I might have a promotional T-shirt. Which promotional T-shirt company should I use? So I'll probably use similar T-shirts from CBS, from CBS promotional T-shirts. So someone tell me which T-shirts should I order when I'm able to order one. Or I could just order a few at a local store. So where's the t-shirt store here in the tri-state area? I do know how to where to wrap my vehicle though. I know how to promotion. I know where to go to wrap my promotion. So now my script. Let's go to the script. I think for Mercedes Benz anyway, I imagine about business cards and organizing business cards. I imagine that. So I think Mercedes Benz of the anyway, and all the Mercedes Benzes. So go to MBUSA.com. That's for Mercedes Benz USA. So go to MBUSA.com for more information about Mercedes Benz. And then if you call the automobile dealership, they'll be able to help you with the vans. Because maybe we need Mercedes Benz promotional van. Visit Oregon. They have great beaches. Microsoft, I've never been to Oregon, but I learned that they have great beaches. Microsoft Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Microsoft Surface computers. I know. Can you play The Sims on the Surface computer and the Xbox? That's how much RAM and memory that I need. I like playing that game for only an hour. You have to limit yourself. You have to limit it to an hour because it's such a fun game. You can design SimCity, one of my other games for urban planners. It's so much fun to be the mayor of a SimCity. It's a really interesting game. If you read about the game, it's really a philosophical, ideological, sociological game about you trying to win SimCity or at The Sims. Let me thank the American Medical Association. I wanted to report about the American Medical Association, and I pray that they'll be able to help me. I don't know if doctors have to serve for free because that's the Hippocratic Oath. Not hypocrite, but the Hippocratic Oath. Is that it? So I have to relearn some of the things. So this is fun. So an antibiotic resistance poses a growing threat to public health across the globe. New research published this month from the American Medical Association and the Pew Charitable Trusts highlights the need for improved antibiotic stewardship in outpatient settings to combat antibiotic resistance. The organizations commissioned a joint study of over 1,000 primary care physicians in the U.S. that shared information about barriers to reducing unnecessary antibiotic prescribing in outpatient settings, and they wanted to promote the need for physician and patient education to prevent the acceleration of antibiotic resistant infections. Published this month in the journal Open Forum. The journal's title is Open Forum, infectious diseases. The study revealed that while 94% of primary care physicians agree antibiotic resistance is a problem in the US, 55% do not find it to be an area of concern in their own practices, ranking it as less important than other public health issues. Let's pray for that person in that ambulance, like obesity, diabetes, opioids, smoking, and vaccine hesitancy. Additionally, 91% of respondents indicated they believe stewardship programs are appropriate for office based practices, but several said that, or a majority said, that patients and families should be the primary focus of these efforts. Approximately half of the participants felt that tracking appropriate antibiotic use would be difficult to do in an accurate and fair manner, and that antibiotic use reporting would be a significant burden for their practice. Antibiotic resistance is an pending public health crisis. So, we are seeing today that our health system looks like with no or limited treatments available to tackle an outbreak. They say the rise of antibiotic resistance infections. I'm summarizing right now. We must all remain vigilant, and now I'm quoting, in combating the spread of antibiotic resistant bacteria and be prudent when prescribing antibiotics, said AMA President Ms. Susan R. Bailey, MD. The AMA, she said, encourages physicians to prioritize antibiotic stewardship programs in their practices to ensure the appropriate use of antibiotics and improve patient and public health outcomes. The MA, and that was what she said. The AMA and Pew also conducted focus groups with primary care physicians in Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Birmingham, Alabama, to learn more about physician perceptions about antibiotic resistance, outpatient antibiotic stewardship approaches, and inappropriate prescribing to better understand the barriers to effective stewardship. So, a study highlighting the findings from the focus group was published in the peer reviewed journal BMJ Open in July. While findings suggest that support, this is me quoting the representative from the AMA, in findings to suggest support for education focused stewardship activities. Respondents expressed skepticism around the utility of antibiotic use tracking and reporting as a stewardship strategy. The study findings provide important insights on physician perceptions about antibiotic stewardship that should be considered by stakeholders when implementing interventions aimed at improving antibiotic prescribing habits. The MAA has long supported efforts to prevent the spread of drug resistant organisms in healthcare facilities and communities. Specifically, the AMA has adopted numerous policies and advocated for legislation over the years supporting efforts to address antibiotic resistance, including reducing barriers to antibiotic development through incentives. Because antibiotics are important in the treatment of human infections, existing AMA policy also calls for continued education and appropriate antibiotic use, as well as the bringing the end to the practice of using medically important antibiotics for growth promotion in animals. So, to combat the antibiotic resistant infection spread, the AMA Ed Hub the AMA Ed Hub contains a collection of educational resources for physicians. And antibiotic resistance poses a growing threat to public health across the globe. And then new research published today from the American Medical Association and the Pew Charitable Trust, Pew, highlights the need for improved antibiotic stewardship in outpatient settings to combat antibiotic resistance. The organization has commissioned a joint study of over 1,000 primary care physicians in the U.S. that identified barriers to reducing unnecessary antibiotic prescribing in outpatient settings. And they also emphasize the need for physician and patient education to prevent the acceleration of antibiotic resistant infections. So, published this month in Open Forum Infectious Diseases, the study revealed that 94% of the primary care physicians agree antibiotic resistance is a problem. And I wanted to share other information from the AMA. Earlier this year, hundreds of Michigan patients, their advocates, and their physicians packed multiple legislative committee hearings to share their experiences with insurance company prior authorization regulations. The new survey data released by the American Medical Association bolsters what they testified to lawmakers. Burdensome prior authorization red tape is adversely affecting patient outcomes. According to the survey of 91% of physicians say prior authorization leads to delays in care, and 16% report the delay in care has led to a patient's hospitalization. Thank you, the American Medical Association, for that information today. Today. It's Friday, and we love baseball. Baseball is baseball. And the Marlins are at the Washington Nationals, and you can learn more about the other teams at MLB.com, or on my website. I put a link to the schedule, and you can learn who's playing tonight. So they're playing later tonight. You can go on MLB.com for more information about when they're playing. The People's Corporation, Affirmative Development. It's interesting that they have an interesting portfolio. But let me read about the company. I imagine he would want me to read about the company. I conducted research about REITs, and I found this company. Also, I believe that he was on CNBC today. So the People's Corporation is a privately held national real estate investment and development company specializing in residential, hospitality, retail, and mixed-use commercial properties. The company has corporate offices in New York City, Miami, and Washington, D.C. So founded in 1983 by Mr. Peebles, the company has become an industry leader with a portfolio of active and completed developments totaling more than 10 million square feet and $8 billion in the gateway cities of New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Miami, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. It would be nice to have an office in Charlotte for people to work for me after I am the company of the year. Oh, let me tell you about the NBA. The NBA.com. I hope y'all are watching the NBA. So remember, these are my favorite book publishers: Penguin, Random House, Simon and Schuster, HarperCollins. Michael Jordan has a restaurant, and he has a restaurant in Illinois, Washington, and Connecticut. So he has restaurants. Lehigh Valley Hospital. Please visit louisvuitton.com. And pardon me, and please visit bloomingdale's.com because Bloomingdale's sells clothing. And please watch Stephen Colbert from home. Reserve a luxury hotel room today. Watch 60 Minutes on CBS. Thank you, all the 60 Minutes correspondents who I met. And Meet the Press, not Meet the Press. Oh gosh. Ooh. The show on CBS is not called Meet the Press. Mr. Chuck Todd, that's interesting. Thank you for your help. I'm sure he has helped me in some way. Some people like to play tricks on me. I'm learning. I'm learning about this Microsoft Surface. So y'all maybe purchase Microsoft Surface today. It's a nice computer. But if you after you purchase your computer, if you can pay for your computer, remember about Indiana. So remember about Indiana, Indianapolis, and the library. Maybe you can pay to have an event at a library or not. The Indianapolis Public Library this month had the 101st Summer Reading Program. Imagine Your Story. It attracted over 12,000 children and families during the 9-week program and ended on August 1st. The young readers devoted 97,209 hours to enhance their literary skills and experience the love of reading. Uh, and I love when the kids get prizes. Generously donated. If you have to see the kids read their reports when I worked at a library, I think that is one of my favorite parts about working at a library is seeing the kids loving to read, getting their books, and going to deliver their book reports. So it would be great if the brother of the attorney would help me with the children's part of the African American author book fair. Uh, and some of the other people that helped me in the past too that work at other libraries. So now is the time to send the press release. So I kind of did send a minimum press release, but I didn't write a complete press release. So I think I'm still thinking that I work there and that people know me. So then I go like that to myself. This summer program was presented by the Friends of the Library through gifts to the Indianapolis Public Library Foundation. Major sponsors were 92.3 WTTS, Herbert Simon Family Foundation, the Indianapolis Foundation Library Fund, and Nina Mason Pulliam Charitable Trust, Mary Frances Rubley and Jerry Hummer, and Sam Marian Foundation. Supporting sponsors are BKD CPAs and Advisors, Citizens Energy Group, College Choice CD 529 Savings Plan, First Merchants Bank, Indianapolis Colts, Louis Ladd Kirtland, and Hugh C. Kirtland. Endowment Fund, a fund for the Indianapolis Foundation, Lilly Endowment Incorporated, Office of Lawrence Township Trustee Steve Talley, and One America, Marlene Sexton, and the Swisher Foundation, Incorporated, in memory of Glenn M. Swisher, to discover the library's many activities for children, including upcoming virtual programming. Visit the library's event calendar on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you, in the Indianapolis Public Library. So donating, it looks like, and it's a great way to promote your business for people who want to use the library. So all NDPL locations except Lawrence are open for in-brand service and curbside pickup. I want to know everything about Mr. What's his name from the Pacers, Reggie Miller. So I have to go to and want to take a selfie for John Starks. Because we love Reggie Miller here in New York, and we love him when he plays against the Knicks. Yeah, we are Knicks fan. I hope my father doesn't fire. He hasn't hired me, but would he fire me for saying Reggie Miller? He has a good 3 point, just like Mr. Michael Jordan. So remember to watch NBA League Pass games. And I believe that there is a package for live TV that's about NBA TV games and around the clock access to NBA coverage. And then they have the NBA League Pass Premium, all teams, no commercials. Watch hundreds of games from around the league commercial free. And then NBA League Pass, all teams, watch hundreds of games from around the league, I guess, with commercials. Interesting. Let's talk about meeting five trailblazing women. I would like to thank the New York Story Bar Association. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women are created equal. That's by Elizabeth Cady Stanton in 1848 Declaration of the Rights and Sentiments. On August 18, 1920, Tennessee became the 36th state to ratify the 19th Amendment, making women's suffrage legal in the United States. To honor this moment in history, this historic moment, the Women in Law section of the New York State Bar Association, the NYSBA, recently hosted a webinar celebrating the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage and the achievement of legal rights. So it was great that the webinar traced the timeline from 1848 about until 1920. The co-moderators were Miss Mazur, Miss Harper, and Miss Sowa. Thank you for that information. I hope that they're able to put that online so that people can uh, see the seminar if they weren't able to see the seminar. So I love discussing REITs like Simon Property Group and PREIT. So the Carnegie era to the Great Depression. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library System. In 1901, Mr. Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie, a philanthropist, it looked like he donated about $25,000 for a library building if the city would furnish a site or give a site, pardon me, not furnish, give a site to taxes to support the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library operations. So that was great. You can go to cmlibrary.org for more information because I worked at a Carnegie Library. So I think that's great. I would love to visit the other Carnegie Library. So thank you for watching Intelligent Luxury, and thank you, Mom and Michael Jordan. Adios. Oh, let me think. Let me think. The bills this week, I believe that people are on vacation this week, no? Let's see what the bills are this week. We're in the House and the Senate. What bills are in the House and the Senate? Delivering for America Act, the items that may be considered pursuant to a rule. Oh, so this is a presumed rule to maintain prompt and reliable postal services during any health emergency and for other purposes. Mr. Henry James was born into a wealthy family in New York City, and I wanted to read more about the classics available at Barnes& Noble. So anybody want to tweet me at IntelliLuxury? You can tweet me or Instagram me a photograph of your favorite a classic, Barnes& Noble's classic. So let's talk about this. I think I have a couple of minutes left. We have Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.